If you are a high income earner and you're still a little bit stressed about money, you may not necessarily need to be more disciplined. You may just need to make fewer decisions when it comes to your finances. So in today's video, I'm going to share with you how I set up my finances to limit the number of decisions that I have to make on payday and still reach all of my goals. Let's get into it.
Everywhere I go, the people really want to know who I is and who I be. They stop and stare when they see me.
Hey y'all, hey, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Keisha Jante, and I would love for you to be a part of the family. So please consider subscribing and turning on your notifications so you don't miss any future updates. So in today's video, I am going to be sharing with you some of the money moves that I'm going to be taking with me into 2026 that's going to help me manage my finances as a single woman in her late 30s that is focused on her money. Now, I happen to earn a decent income. I'm what you consider a high income earner, but I feel like these money moves are simple enough that anybody at any income level can implement most of them, if not all of them. Now, if you watch my Welcome to 2026 video, you'll remember that my overall theme for the year is systems. So the idea of putting together all these different money moves is to create one money system that's going to limit the number of decisions that I have to make about my money every payday. So that way I can use my brain capacity to focus on things that are going to give me a higher return or move me closer to completing my goals. So there are 7 money moves in this money system. The first money move is mapping my paycheck. So this is something I do at the beginning of every year and every time my paychecks change significantly. I do it at the beginning of the year because when the new year resets, so do things like some taxes like Social Security or 401k contributions that could impact my paycheck. Not necessarily as big as getting like a promotion or a raise or anything like that, but I still want to make sure that I'm aligned with how much money I'm actually bringing in. And what mapping my paycheck is basically just saying how much of my paycheck is going to each bucket. Very simple. For me, my buckets are tithes, which we know 10% off the top. 10% of my net paycheck goes to tithes. And then after that, monthly debt payments, so mortgage, credit cards, student loans, monthly recurring spending, so utilities, subscriptions, anything that I choose to continue to pay every month, IRA contributions, what else? I should know this. Sinking funds, and then regular spending, right? So different buckets that I have written down to say this is how much is going into each paycheck each month. Oh, y'all ain't tell me my hair was sticking up. So then that takes me to money move number 2 in this system, which is setting up direct deposit into multiple bank accounts based on those buckets so that I never have to worry about manually transferring money ever again. Luckily, my job allows us to split our paychecks over a bunch of different bank accounts. If there's a limit, I haven't seen it yet, but this allows me to not have to worry about going in and transferring money into different accounts or having to worry about setting up automatic transfers, and it eliminates any delays from like bank to bank transfers. So once I know how much money needs to go into each bucket, then I go in and direct that amount to be deposited into a separate bank account for each bucket. So I have a lot of bank accounts. So I've assigned bank accounts to each of those buckets. So this amount of dollars goes into this bank account every pay period. This amount of dollars goes into this bank account every pay period, so forth and so on until my entire paycheck has been directed into different bank accounts. So then that brings me to money move number 3, which is auto paying my bills out of their respective accounts so that I never have to worry about a late fee or a cutoff notice or anything like that. Listen, I pay my bills, okay? My bills are paid. Sometimes they get paid a little late because I forget. Especially the smaller bills. Sometimes I just forget, right? So setting up this system has helped me tremendously because now the money is in the account. It goes in there every pay period. It comes out when it's due. Now, what I forgot to mention back when I was talking about money move number 1 is that when I'm deciding or when I'm determining how much money goes into each of the buckets, I'm also including a buffer. Because sometimes when you're setting up your auto pay, you get to choose when you want the money to come out. Like, for example, my mortgage, I've chosen to come out 2 weeks before the due date, so I know it's paid, right? But you don't always get to make that decision. And sometimes things are due at weird times related to your pay periods. And so you don't want to be in a situation where you overdraft because something came out right before you got paid, or a charge gets declined and then you get hit with a late fee or insufficient fund fee or whatever the case may be. So throw a little bit of a buffer in there, depending on how much you need to have in there, so that you always know that there's something in there. There's something in the account. It's never going to go to zero unless you have like some crazy, fluctuation in bills. Another reason to do a buffer is because, especially for your monthly recurring bills that may vary, like your utility bills, you don't necessarily want, again, to be in a situation where the bill was a little bit higher than you budgeted for, and then you end up in a situation where the bill overdrafts your account. For example, for my gas bill, when I decide how much goes in there, I did it based on the average monthly. So I took the entire year, and I redo this every year. So for 2026, take the entire year of 2025, what my bills were divided by 12. That's the average. But obviously, in winter months, it's going to come out. There's going to be more that comes out. In summer months, there's going to be less that comes out. So since I'm starting this in the winter, the amount that I've budgeted for the gas is going to be less than what actually needs to come out. So I put that buffer in there to avoid that. And then in the summertime, the buffer is going to increase because there's not going to be as much coming out. Hopefully that makes sense. But yes, you need to make sure you have a buffer so that when you do your auto pays, you're not running into situations where you're getting late fees, insufficient fund fees, overdraft charges, and things like that. Money move number 4 is setting aside money into a sinking fund so that I'm always prepared for those non-monthly expenses. If you don't know, a sinking fund is an account that you set money into monthly so that you can prepare or save for those one-off or non-monthly expenses. So Christmas gifts, travel, license renewals, car maintenance, home maintenance, HOA fees, annual subscriptions, those kind of things that can possibly blow your budget if you're not setting money aside for it at the beginning of the year or throughout the year. So for example, my HOA fee is $450 a year and it's due on January 1st. I take that $450, I divide it by 12. I put whatever that result is, $37.50, $38.50. I don't know off the top of my head right now. I have it written down somewhere. But I take that amount, I put it into a separate account each month so that when January 1st comes around, they just automatically pull that money out of that account. It's already there. I don't have to worry about it. And then it doesn't have to come out of my December budget. Money move number 5 is to limit my convenience spending so that I'm not eating into my budget. Notice I said limit and not eliminate, okay? I will still pay for convenience in some circumstances, but I do feel like, if I'm being completely honest with myself, and this is the time for that, I abuse the convenience spending for myself, in my budget, right? So, I'm not saying that I can't eat out. What I'm saying is maybe I need to go get it instead of ordering Uber Eats or DoorDash, right? Because it's not necessarily for budget wise. And for those of y'all that cook at home and you never know what you're eating, this is not for you. What I'm saying is the issue is not that I'm eating out. The issue is I'm paying so much more to eat out for convenience. The convenience is not that somebody else is cooking for me. The convenience is having somebody else bring it to me, if that makes sense. That's the part that I'm cutting out. I can still go eat out. I can still go order some food from a restaurant. If I want fast food, that's my business. But I don't necessarily have to pay for somebody to bring it to me, girl. Put on your shoes. Get in your car. Get out the house every now and then. A lot of times it's just like, oh, it's only a couple dollars here, it's a couple dollars there. But when it's a couple dollars here and there, multiple times a day, every day for a whole month, that adds up. And it can really cut into your budget and hinder you from reaching your goal. So again, I'm not saying cut out all of the convenience. I'm saying I'm finding ways that I can limit it so that I can make my budget, my spending budget, stretch further. Because we got all these buckets. One of those buckets is my spending budget for the month. And once that's spent, it's spent. And if it's spent on convenience, then friend, that's all you got till next month. So let's try to cut back on that. Money move number 6 is having a daily money date so that I can see exactly where my money is going and what changes I need to make in real time. So every night I'm going to sit down with my evening tea and my Monarch Money app and go through all the expenses that I've had since the last time I checked the app. And no judgment. I'm not shaming myself for what I did. If I did something I wasn't supposed to do, okay, log it, track it, put it in the right category. I know what I need to do next time. I'm not using this as a way to make myself feel bad. I'm using this as data, right? Because I am creating my budget based on how I'm already spending, but also it's a little bit aspirational. So I may have some situations where I gotta spend some stuff that I wasn't trying to spend. I gotta move some money around in a way that I wasn't planning on moving it. And it's just looking at my transactions every day will just be data input to say, okay, maybe when I made this budget, I wasn't realistic in that area, or I didn't think about this, or whatever the case may be. So I'm not doing it to judge myself, to shame myself, to make myself feel bad about it. I'm just doing it to inform myself on how I need to move going forward. I'm also doing these daily expenses because then I can catch things that shouldn't be there, that I forgot about, right? Annual subscriptions that I didn't think about because it comes on some random day in June, right? Or monthly expenses that I shouldn't be paying because I forgot to cancel, or I signed up for a free trial and didn't opt out, or whatever the case may be. I can catch those things and help my budget out that way. Last but not least, money move number 7. Most of my extra income is going towards debt to pay this stuff off sooner. And that includes my mortgage, that includes my student loans, that includes all of my debt. I have a plan to pay it off in this number of years. And any extra income that I'm going to earn is going towards the plan so that I can start to pay it off in this number of years. The only exception to that will be business income, because right now I am maxing out my 401k at my job. And before all the finance bros or whoever come on here, are you doing this? Yes. Yes. Okay. Yes. However, I am maxing out my 401k at my job, so I can't contribute any more money into an employer-sponsored plan. However, as a business owner, I can contribute money into a solo 401k up until the max. And that means that from business income, the money that I'm making there will go towards retirement in a solo 401k. And then the rest of that will go to debt until I maxed out as much as I could put into a solo 401k. And then the rest of that will go to debt. So for anything not business income, extra income going to debt. Business income is going to be split between debt and retirement income. And again, yes, I'm doing the things, okay? I'm doing the things. This is my plan. My plan includes maxing out my 401k. Including maxing out, in addition to maxing out a Roth, in addition to yes, in addition to that, in addition to yes, I'm doing the things. I don't need the lectures in the comments. Lord Jesus, be offense. Anyway, so that's what I'm doing to manage my finances and help limit the number of decisions that I have to make around my finances. I'm mapping my paycheck. I'm setting up direct deposit based on that map. I am auto paying my monthly expenses. I am putting money into sinking funds. I'm limiting my convenience spending. I'm doing a daily money date to make sure I'm tracking everything and knowing where everything's going and making decisions that needs to be made based on that. And then I am putting all of my extra money towards debt. It sounds like a lot, but it really is just making a decision once, putting the plan into play, automating the things, and then checking in on it regularly. My goal is not to be perfect at this, but my goal is to just make these decisions easier. So if this sounds like something that you need in your life, go ahead and map out that paycheck. Go ahead and set up those direct deposits or those auto transfers if you can't do a bunch of direct deposits at your job. Go ahead and set those bills on auto pay and then just sit back and enjoy how much better it feels to not have to worry about your finances in that way and to not have to make so many decisions about your money in that way. And If you're new here, don't forget, I would love to have you a part of the family. Please subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any future updates. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye. Hey y'all, hey, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Keisha Jante and I would love for you to be a part of the family. So please consider subscribing and turning on your notifications so that you don't miss any future updates.
Your dryer is done.
Thank you, I appreciate that. And what mapping my paycheck is basically just saying how much of my paycheck is going to each bucket. Very simple. For me, oh my God, I gotta get rid of that refrigerator. Now that brings me to money move number 2 for this system, which is setting up a direct... What are these sounds?